Okay, so we are live. Let me just make sure I've got the X post and the Facebook post. Great. So we should be able to now see the live stream.
Mm.
Oh, there we go. We got someone already viewing. Fantastic.
Oh boy, they better have a long attention span for this.
Oh, I'm sure they will. We'll have
Oh
to
yeah.
see them. Given that they're used to seeing this most of the rest of the time. All right.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Moses, what have you been up to? What's new with you?
Actually, I've been a little bit all over the place today. Because I took a walk and I saw the beginning of Pan's Labyrinth. Um, and I've been deciding whether I should read or do something else. Um, because I made this. I mean I've been doing this. I wanted to do this interview for months, and I have so many things. Basically, I made this interview decision on like impromptu.
Sure.
So I just did it, uh, and like kind of to wait for it is like, do I want to read? Do I want to do something else will pass my time? Because like some of the past books I've been reading, I've already um, like I've kind of dropped a couple here and there. Like I'm actually on like half of like two books and the beginning of like a short story collection. So that's one thing. And I thought, should I start in some other book because I really wanted to read that? But I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that. I'm going to read these three first, and then I have other things that I want to get into. So uh, that was a real whole thing. But the actual thing that I've managed to sit through yesterday was this film by Yorgos Lanthimos, The Lobster, where basically um, it's about a person who lives in this whole society where you're supposed to marry somebody in 45 days or you turn into an animal of your choice. And that was honestly one of the best films I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've
Yeah.
been wanting to see the film for a while. And I wanted to see some of his other works like Poor Thing. No, I've seen already Poor Things and what's it called? Kinds of Kindness. And the favorite, which I have not seen, but I thought Yorgos Lanthimos is kind of a quirky, interesting director. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, why is that film where basically someone does do something in a certain number of days, they turn into an animal? Why is that the best film you've ever seen?
Yeah. Why is that the best film? I use it superlative because it's like it was a really good film. Like I wouldn't say there are any better or worse films. I mean, there are definitely worse films, but I would say it's like one of the films I've really inspired by is a Clockwork Orange or Eyes Wide Shut or Climax, or a bunch of others. And but I would say that film yesterday, it was incredible because I just really like like Lanthimos has a very deadpan style. Literally, like the actors have to talk a lot like this, and their emotional range is like very flat. But I guess it's intended to be that way because most of the world in itself is kind of like dead and is like they're supposed to be like it's kind of existential in a way where it's like, oh yeah, it really makes you think. But the kind of flatness of the characters and like how everything goes by, it's like it emphasizes the dryness of that whole theme and the satire. And also just a whole theme about you know having to be a couple in a certain amount of days, or you do something that you don't want to do. I think there's an interesting theme on power and like being forced to do something that like I don't know, just living in a place where people have to do these assume things in a relationship, or the assumption that like, and even emphasizing that kind of conservative traditional value of marriage or having kids. And actually one of the funny parts of the movie was that uh, and I will give spoilers to anybody, some people die in the end, and basically that one there's one part where it's like the host of the hotel that runs the whole thing, basically says that, if marriage is ever a problem, then we will give you kids because they usually work. And so that was I find that the whole film is hilarious. I recommend it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So sounds to me you like movies. What are some of your other hobbies again?
Um, I wouldn't say I have hobbies, but it's more of like I have things that I just do.
Yeah.
Um, I write in my spare time. I read a lot. I'm very interested in the
Yeah.
Enneagram and socionics and attitudinal psyche, basically those typologies. Um, those are the things that I do. Um, yep.
Okay. Why don't you call them hobbies?
Um, huh. It's really interesting because it's like the word hobby is like I don't know. It's like so normal people have like a work life and then they have like a spare time life. They have a work slash play, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with me, it's like my life is the entire thing. Like if like I don't know if movies never existed, if the Enneagram didn't exist, then I don't think I'd even be here at all. Or I don't think I ever like physically show up at all. Like I don't think I'd ever live. That's my thing. It's like I don't know. It's like I think the word hobby comes from a place where it's that it's like, oh, this is a part of my life, or this is the part of the thing that I want to do, but there are the other things that I have to do, and they're like the hobby is just I don't know, it's like a hobby is like something that you could just replace. Whereas to me, it's like I don't ever replace those things. Like these
Yeah.
are like this is what I live for, and like work and like even like things about like I don't know making money, like doing mediocre work is just like I don't like I don't know doing dishes or cleaning counters or serving customers for a living. That's not to me. It's not doing anything for a living. It's just a means to an end. Like you're just earning money for things that I want to do. In which like to me is like to live is to create, to read, to consume myself with information, and to create and build something out of myself. And the other parts are just uh, a means to an end, essentially. And I don't know. It's like even if I like with my whole career decision of wanting to be a filmmaker, which will take a long
Mm.
time to do, that will um, I don't see filmmaking or making art as a hobby or even writing as a hobby. Like this is
Yeah.
my life, like my career. Like call it a career, call it a
Yeah.
hobby,
Yeah.
whatever. Like this is this is my life. Like this is what I do. Like I don't know anything else.
Sure. Why have you chosen filmmaking as your life, as your, am I right to say purpose or destiny? Like,
Purpose.
why have you
Yeah.
chosen
Oh.
filmmaking as your purpose?
Because it's hard and it's going to be very part of it's that it's ambitious and also I've been drawn to movies and characters and stories and whatnot. And I want to and also it's like I've been wanting to do acting for a long time. And the part of the uh, and I think what is interesting about like being a film director is that you get to control every single aspect of the creation. Like
Yes.
you direct the actors, you do the editing, you do the lighting, you make sure everything is just right. Otherwise, you're going to be like it's better. It's honestly better than just being in a place in a really shitty creation. Or otherwise, you have to be really like, or otherwise, if I'm going to be an actor or an editor, I had to be very selective about which are these going to be good projects? Are they going to be interesting? Are they going to work creatively here and there? And whereas with me as a director, it's like just showing up and starting my own writing. There's definitely going to be some. It's going to be hard, but it's definitely doable. Just as long as I get people, which that's why I go to film school because that's all about people, and I have like nobody around me. So yeah, it's most it's a really interesting thing. Like I think it's just it's really something that I really am interested in.
All right. Thank you. So you said that you haven't yet started becoming a filmmaker. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I haven't actually filmed anything because well, first and foremost, what is there to film? And second, who am I going to film? Nobody. So that's one other thing. Uh, but yeah, like mostly my process to like understanding it is how to write and how to write a story, which is why I'm not only just watching movies, but I'm also reading books and I'm practicing some writing on the side
Yep.
to learn like, oh, this is how a story works, or these are these kind of movies, and also to practice my own writing and just developing my own style, but also developing my own skill as well. So
Sure.
yeah,
So you're in sort of the preparatory phase where you're building out your skill sets before you become the filmmaker. Fair enough.
yes.
Are you studying in a formal institution for that?
I am not studying at all right now. Um, because money. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah, but I think in like maybe a year, 2 years time, because that's when I'll be able to actually raise up enough money to, move out and actually do things. Um, that's when I'll go to film school. Uh, either in Vancouver, somewhere in the United States, somewhere. Uh, yeah, I just had to pick a place, and I'll settle on there.
Right. Thank
Mm.
you. Um, Another question. Where do you see becoming a filmmaker as well, I guess the question is what sort of filmmaker do you want to be? What is the genre you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on a particular genre, or is there a sort of style that you want to create about yourself, which is non-genre specific?
I don't really pay attention to genres. It's more of like it's very much developing my own style. But I'm really, like, basically, I'm really interested in a lot of kind of, taboo subjects or things that people don't like to normally get into. Um, and like that would sometimes I would lean to the horror genre, but a lot of people like horror, so it's like, so what? But yeah, a lot of things that are generally very complex and very, I would say, testy, but at the same time, very. It's going to be have a psychological bent. Um, and yeah, like usually those films.
Yeah,
Um, I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to become a kind of filmmaker like everyone else because Tarantino has his style, Kubrick has his style, um, or some other director has his style.
yeah,
But that's a whole thing. It's like nobody can like just copy and paste Kubrick on a digital screen or a film screen, however you want to put it.
right. If you had all the money you needed, what would be the most challenging part for you in becoming a successful filmmaker? And successful
Um,
according to your
hmm.
own metrics.
Uh, Successful. It's the advertising. Ugh, I don't want to deal with. Um, I'd rather have some other people do the advertising.
Hmm.
And it's most like my ideas. Like usually, I'd rather let. I guess it's also the challenging people. Um, from the studios is like, hey, you can't have this in screen, or you don't want to do this, or like getting actors or getting people to do things that normally like typical actors don't want to do. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna have. That's why I'm very selective about the people because I'm like, these people would have to be willing to like do anything to be in this role. Like they don't care if like something happens or if it's like unfilmable, but it's gonna have to be there. They had to like be the most risk taking actors ever to do it, and not the kind of actors that want to be, so comfortable and like, oh, I have to prepare for this. Like, no, just jump in, just do it, do what I say.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and yeah, and normally people who just focus on like, oh, you don't want to like, don't film this, don't film that, or this person's not comfortable, or this person is like, I don't know, like, uh, like generally the challenges of like what's can be shown on screen or not on screen is like, no, like I like get out of the way. I'm not working with you anymore. If you don't want to film it, it's like go make some other film. It's probably gonna be lamer, but yeah.
Mm.
Uh, I mean, it sounds. I don't know if this sounds particularly too arrogant, but it's more of like I just have a high self-confidence about what I want to do,
Yeah.
and what I want to do. It's like yeah.
So just back on the marketing idea, well, my marketing
Mhm.
version, is it that the idea of thinking about what will cause someone to react to this movie and want to then attend the showing? It's less about that, and it's more about the sanitizing of what you are trying to create for mass consumption.
I'd say it's a latter option.
Yeah.
I think if some people don't want to see my film, first of all, I'm gonna make them see my film. But um, if they don't want to see my film, don't see my film. Go watch something else. But I, what especially gets off of me is like first and foremost, it's like I don't care who's gonna see it. It's like if someone like I'm not making this for everybody, but I generally do not like the sanitizing, the kind of like gentrifying or the whole like cleansing of my artistic choices.
Right. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Um, Another question. What qualities frustrate and irritate you about people? I mean, you sort of touched on this already, but I'd like to see you go into
Ooh.
anything else.
Okay. I don't like people who are like overly I don't like people who are overly reactive and overly sensitive, or people who get overly like okay so actually I don't like people who complain, especially like people who like complain about like, oh, my body hurts, or oh, this customer was so weird to me and I had to do this and I had to do that and this person was looking at me in a strange way. And I was like, I don't care. Like to me, it's like all these people who like worry about, complaining and all these like unnecessary things that have nothing to do with getting a project done. To me, I might as well just remove them or just not listen to them because I'm like, why don't you just get the thing done? Like that's part of the work. Like the exhaustion, the stress, the tired, the embarrassment, even like that's part of work. Like that's part of just getting something done. Like I don't want to hear all about that bullshit about like how weird something is or how tiring something is. Like it's I don't want to hear it. Um, and what else? What else? I don't like I don't like people being delusional or people being overly optimistic, and I certainly don't like people being overly negative, either, because I think it's just another bias that clouds their judgment about like what makes sense or how to get something finished or done. And usually it's like I don't know, like people being overly positive. It's like I just there's a whole lack of realism there, and usually it's like most people who tend to see the negative, I have a little more respect for because most of everything is negative. But at the same time, it's like, well, why don't we like actually figure out how to actually get there? And it's like, okay, like that's narrowing down our options. Why don't
Mhm.
we figure out the most possible option, or otherwise figure out a way to make the most negative option into the most positive option? And so, like, I have an issue with those kind of people who are like overly biased. And I don't like people who are overly I don't like messy people, like physically messy people, every like all kinds of messiness.
Yeah.
Especially like my older brother who I room with, who does not know how to like, uh he does not know how to clean his side of the room or like leave shit all over the place. I don't like that.
Yep.
Um yeah, and uh, what else irritates me about people? Oh, I don't like people either. About people who like tell me about like, oh, you should do it this way, you should do it that way, or like I don't know, like people who are like overly finicky about anything. To me, it's like I'm not gonna listen to that. And people who are like over concerned with the physical details about like to me it's like if you care so much about like I don't know a clean kitchen sometimes or like I don't know locking the door, why don't you do it? Like that's not like I have other places to be. Like there are times where I can get concerned about it, but when I don't have that kind of concern, it's like whatever. Like I'm either off about it.
Mhm. Fair enough. Okay, I'll flip it around. What qualities do you admire in other people that you do not have yourself?
Um, what qualities do I admire in other people do I not have myself? Um, I I like people who are uh, I have moments of physical strength, so it's like I I don't really I'm gonna put that at like second degree. But I like people who are really good at determining relationships and uh oh Jesus, I have no idea now. Um it's hard because it's like when there's a quality I admire and like it's in myself and to see that in other people, it's like I don't know. Like it's really hard to see anything good in people unless if it's particularly obvious to me at the moment. Um and usually it would be a quality that I will have. Yeah, it's really hard to find anybody. Um uh but generally it's like I I really like people who really have this kind of uh I don't know, who are actually softer and have this kind of sentimental um, value and this kind of emotional depth that I generally don't seem to have. Well, I do have at some moments, but I'm not particularly good at like accessing them in the moment. Um, or like I don't know, determining like it's not necessarily like determining what makes a friend or what makes an like what makes a good relationship. And to me, it's like I have no idea about that, and like I'd rather have people do that. Um, and so yeah, that's part of the other thing. Um, I do like the I don't know. I think I'm a simp for um, physical strength to a degree. Um, except it's not like I want someone to be my bodyguard or anything because I think that that's I don't know for somebody to like do the whole fighting and action for me is offensive and insulting. Um, so there are parts of me that's like, I mean, I don't know. It's like there's a part of me that admires it, and I find that funny and entertaining to watch. Like I don't know, like a really bad teacher, an aggressive teacher who has like a terrible reputation with students and threatens to throw shoes at them. I find that very entertaining and funny. But I don't need that teacher to be like a bodyguard to me. It's like I find it insulting. No, thank you, because I can already handle that for myself. So. Um, yeah, basically, I have no. So basically, the bare minimum for like admiring people. I guess that's all I can say. But generally, I don't. I yeah, there are qualities I admire in some people, but I'm like, do I have that in myself? Do I not have that in myself? And like I'm very hyper independent, so it's like I don't know if it's like uh, it's something that I'm not particularly strong in. So um, so yeah, it's like, what do I need other people
Mm.
for the most part? But that's as most I can put it.
Okay, thank you. So another question I have, why do, when pushed, you would admire those people who have a certain deep sensitivity in terms of their relationships, their attitudes towards others, but at the same time, you would take issue with people who are also quite sensitive and get offended at things.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's more of like I like I like in like it's more of like a separating personal versus impersonal. Like if I'm focused at work, then leave your personal bullshit at home. But if it's something that's directly personal, like something to deal with a friend or with an enemy, then that's when you can unleash hell.
Mm.
And like that's kind of the thing. Um, yeah, like I don't know, like I guess it's like getting overly reactive about like how tired you are. at work, or like if a person doesn't like you at work, it's like whatever. But in personal relationships and dealing with that, that's well, I wouldn't say I think the sensitivity is like it's more of like I don't think sensitivity is the right word now. It's more of like I can like acknowledge the personal relationship, and I can do um uh, uh, it's so weird. I don't know. It's more of like I can uh I guess it's just like acknowledging just a personal relationship and whatnot. That's and knowing what to do there and how to act in a personal manner, in personal in the personal realm, if you know what I mean. Um,
Do you have many friends?
no. Um, I have uh, I don't know if online friends would count, but if they see me as a friend, it's like, oh, okay. Um, I guess that would mean I have friends, but as far as in person, I don't have any.
Okay. Why would you, on the one hand, say that you don't have any friends personally, but if someone online were to see you as a friend, you'd be okay?
Um, it's I think I think there's a whole idea of friendship which I have and which I don't want to get into because that's very complex and I don't even know I don't even know about my idea about friendship if that even qualifies. Um, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But I don't know. Um, it's like dealing with like the to. I think I'm just partially not socialized enough to even like make a whole certain framework or basis on uh the whole feeling or the whole concept or anything about friendship that even makes me qualify as like do I like okay so like I can like somebody but does that make that person a friend? No, because it's like that's my feeling, that's my personal attitude. But what about that other person's attitude? Do they like me? Do they hate me? Do they not care about me? Am I just a delusion and whatnot? Like like maybe if the other person likes me and I like the person and I'm like, oh, okay. Like I guess there could be some signs about us having mutual liking with each other and mutual interest. But I'm like, does that mean we're friends, or does that like what does that mean? Like what makes like does that actually constitute like a whole friendship? Like am I actually like seriously having a friend with the person? If there's this mutual interest or if there's these signs going along. But to me it's like if I like hate a person and a person hates me, or if I really hate a person, then that makes an enemy. Like like I'm really much more it's easy for me to make enemies than to make friends. Um and so like I don't know. Like to me it's like even having a conversation with someone that I like and maybe the person likes me or the person shows signs that they like me and maybe they do, maybe they don't, and maybe the person shows signs that they like me, but inside they want to like run away. And I've had ugh, a horrible experience with that one. So um but basically it's yeah, it's like if a person shows signs about it, it's like, oh, does that mean that they're friends? Like, do I not know that? Do I know that? It's like, I don't know. Like, I can call them a friend, but I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Or is this just me like jumping the gun or something?
Hmm.
And to me, it's like but if I really hate the person, then that makes an immediate enemy. It's like, but that's yeah, I generally have no certainty in it. Uh,
Okay. And are you someone in search of more certainty in your friendships?
Definitely, yeah. It's yeah, it's like I guess part of it is like first of all finding interesting people and yeah, having these people confirm it for me. It's like I
Yeah.
um, to me it's like if I confirm it, it's like first of all like the whole if I confirm it and they just go on, it's like oh, okay, perfect. Everything is in my hands now. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, what am I even having? I think the part of why I don't trust it is because I am not socialized enough yet, and am still I'm like a person like I'm just like a wavering entity figuring out how human beings work all the time. And so like I don't know, it's like a if a person is like willing to go along with it, it's like okay, well I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna bring some other stuff. Here you go, like honestly, like even socializing in itself, it's like it's even testing out the possibility of a no versus a yes. So to
Hmm.
me, it's like even if you could call yourself a friend to me, I'm like you can walk away at any minute. um, so uh, that's a whole thing. But generally, a whole certainty is. Um, I really appreciate certainty, like 100%.
Okay. Let's go back to your desire to become a filmmaker. Your clear identity of that as being your purpose. What do you get from it? What is the thing about being a filmmaker that you can't, what is that itch that you can't scratch in something else?
Hmm. Um, I have no idea. It's like I guess it's like I don't know, like it's like trying to ask Brian Eno why does he make ambient music or why do football players play football instead of I don't know hockey or table tennis or chess or whatever. It's like I just um I don't know. It's like it's really hard. Um I guess it's just something that I've um I guess it's like I guess well part of it is that I learned visually and I very much think in images and scenes and I'm very much a visual thinker. And I think expressing that kind of language through the camera is very interesting to do. And I think it's part of writing stories, which is why, even with my interest in typology, um, that makes like I can get into um, parts of human nature that like people will I think there's kind of a weird thing with filmmakers. It's like some people will just openly, admittedly say that this is therapy for me, or it's like trying to discover like the traditional archetypes and whatnot. It's like I don't like I want to get like I want to use my psychological understanding, but I don't want to use it as like a strict framework of like telling the story. It's like I'd rather let it run freely and do the interpretation as I go along, or as a finished product, and then move on. Uh, so I guess that's all I can scratch in film.
Okay. So you said also you think in scenes.
Mm.
What do you mean by a scene exactly? What do you mean by you think in
Uh,
scenes and sort of that moving image?
yeah. Um, it's pretty much like I don't know. I could see an atmosphere or an environment of characters interacting or animals or characters interacting in an environment. They'll be having a dialogue about something, or um, or they be walking across, or maybe there's something you know mashing their head off, or maybe there's like a threesome somewhere. Um, there would be a whole yeah, it's very visual, it's very imagistic, where it's like I can describe this and I think, okay, what is happening here, what's the beginning going to be like, what's going to happen later, and um kind of being out of order with like just asking questions about like where does it start, where does it begin, where does it end, is this person doing this, what is the gesture, what are the gestures the character is going to be like. uh that's pretty much of my line of thinking.
Okay. Why do you want to ask these questions in a format for other people to see, but not necessarily answer?
Um, huh. It's it's more of like it just it's how I develop the story. And yeah, like just tracking at the beginning and the ending. Um, it's to like that's the development of how you know my uh, God like universe plays out. Um, I guess that's it.
Okay, thank you. And so sorry, I think I missed the part. So say about you. What did you say about your godlike universe? It cut out slightly.
Oh, godlike universe. Yeah. That's basically it's another. Basically, I'm just saying. I'm just this. That's how my story develops.
Okay. You talked also about typology and
Mm,
its connection to, because it clear to me, you said that you wouldn't be alive almost if it weren't for an Enneagram, if it weren't for typology. So that suggests to me that that is very closely interconnected with your purpose in filmmaking.
right. Yeah.
So I guess a question I have is, why is typology so important to your filmmaking?
Um. Because it's a lot of it has to do with um a lot of the character interactions or like are um they have to do with their psychology and it has to do with understanding how does a personality type or what is this kind of
Mm.
person and understanding the enneagram even makes me uh, can build an understanding of how can I create a character or how can I create a kind of theme or how am I explaining my own theme as my type uh creating this film just watching it go along or getting other people or maybe like if there's another person it's like seeing oh that's what it's like being this type in regards to this film like with I don't know like typing films or like even seeing how like films had to do with a certain kind of psychology and even like the art like the very art in itself is uh some people say art is like therapy. Art is like in itself a psychological revealing and um and even with like I do some dream work here and there and I'm very interested in figuring out what do my dreams mean and what did these characters, these random scenes and images mean, and that's very fascinating. So really, it's like exploring, kind of making a dream world uh, consciously, uh,
Yeah.
and even like there's some artists that are actually really inspired by dreams, like A Fixed Twin, which makes who literally makes music uh, in his dreams and then repeats or kind of gets his sound out on a piece of material.
You mentioned dream work. Can you give me an example of a dream that is
Oh,
particularly interesting and salient to what you'd like to create in your filmmaking?
ooh, yeah. What I'd like to create. I don't have in particular, but I have I have loads of dreams about being in school,
Hmm.
my former high school, um, and I have lots of dreams of being in a theater class where everyone is like having a part or participating, but I'm not in the play at all. Um, Sometimes like those like sometimes I track so many of them like some of them are so repeated to the point where it's like I don't even write them down anymore. But then something weird comes up or something different comes up or otherwise the dream is so striking to me to where I have to write it and I'm like okay I'm gonna go write it down. But yeah my dreams are so weird to where it's like trying to like salvage something to create out of it like it's hard. But if I do have something um that I would like to create into a film, into a story, it would be since like I've been learning about um I don't know, have I been learning about? It's also been using my prior knowledge and interest in animals and much of migration and the environment and also uh current environmental collapse and how the forests and jungles are being destroyed and I thought, oh, I might make a story out of that. Which I'm partially inspired by uh Watership Down. because a lot of it has
Mm.
to do with migration and
Yep.
but also I like the idea of these animals migrating across the jungle, and there's this kind of whole civilization politics sort of thing going on, and they break up, and then all of them end up dead, um, in a couple of ways or the other. Um, but it wouldn't never be something that's simple like that. It's more of like I have to include something include something interesting, which why as a storyteller would I not? Um, but it's more of like maybe some things like predator prey relationship, or how like there is no present law in the jungle. It's made of fittest survive. Like it starts with the tigers and the leopards and the snakes, and then they stay away from the human beings, which are the most powerful beings on the planet. Um, and so yeah, that really is to me very much an interesting concept to put on paper. Yeah,
Thank you. Hmm. I'm trying to because
I've given a lot of tangents today.
no, no, that's fine because I was asking you about a dream. There was a dream about being at a party, and
Mhm.
it was a party. Sorry, it was a party. It was like a play. It was a production, which
A play.
you were not part. You were not part of the play, but a lot of people were
Yeah, a theater
involved in it.
class. Yeah.
And what was the significance of that to you?
Um, so I've done theater years ago, and I basically stopped doing it because I didn't like the people, and I didn't like the whole productions in like basically creatively and personally, it just wasn't for me. And so I just like left myself out on purpose because I thought, yeah, like it's not interesting. And I knew that I could develop myself skillfully if kept participating, or if it's like like I knew I had
Yeah.
potential, and like okay, I could develop that. But at the same time, to work with the people and to see their productions like go uh, to see their cheap productions and to be in their cheap productions with people who can't act and who can't sing, I'd rather not be in that environment at all.
Mhm.
And so, um, and also, I guess it's like it's not just a theater, but it's also like generally with people. Um, there's a way where it's like um, like I am generally not a like actually no, it's no. Okay, additionally, so basically, I've had a like very disastrous relational history where uh like a last time like my last major one was where no, like first like it's more of like people don't talk to me at school, like the people that I used to be with regularly, like people I usually talk with regularly at school, I don't talk with now.
Mhm.
And it's one person who I really liked, and then started ghosting me and gave these um, reasons. And for a while, I understood them because I was like, oh, okay. And then later, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. Like, talk to me now. And
Yeah.
he wouldn't, and I got in trouble for that. And it's just like, I am not, I'm not going with this guy ever again. I'm not doing this. And so, yeah, that was really significant to me. Um, and also, like with theater class also being closely tied with school, I deliberately chose to step out of the graduation ceremony. Like I didn't do the whole ceremony or party or whatever. Um, because part of it is like me not being interested in like general holidays and traditions. Like I don't like Christmas decorations. I don't like Christmas. I don't like Thanksgiving. I don't like birthdays. Um, and to do the whole graduation ceremony where everyone is cheering for you and you get up and walk and get your diploma, which actually at the school, like you don't walk up and get your diploma. You walk up, you shake your hand, and then you get your diploma in like the homeroom or something. But basically, to do the whole tradition was just not for me. And the second part is that I knew that relationally I was going downhill. So um, honestly, it's like to even go there without any friends is like, what's the point of me doing it? So I just deliberately stepped out. Um, and so yeah, Um, and with the dream in itself, with the kind those kinds of dreams, it's like someone actually uh that I did a podcast episode with uh last week told me that there's this whole thing about theater,
Yep.
playing with roles and being involved in kind of the theater of life, like literally life is a stage, or to paraphrase with Shakespeare. Um, and with me having like everyone has a role, everyone has a part to play, and with me, it's like I don't know, it's like not having a role or a part to play and kind of being outside of the whole thing, and also being and also probably making sense as in a like if you're familiar with astrology, I'm an Aquarius rising, so that also makes extra sense of basically not being part of the people in major ways.
Yep.
So that's a whole thing.
Yep. He says, so am I right in saying that you are relatively aware of socionics?
Yes.
And have you had a chance to look through the different types to come to some sort of view on what your type might be?
Um, I'm pretty centered on gamma type.
Yep.
Um, Gamma and T especially.
Yep.
I've actually been wedged between LIE and ILI.
Yep.
The thing is, where is extroverted sensing and introverted feeling? Because those are the weird ones. Um,
Yep. So
so yeah.
so
Mm,
Moses, I'm glad you said that. I'm watching this, well, conducting this interview. I think that you're giving a lot of answers which would suggest an LIE. At the same time, I got a quite a strong feeling that you're actually an EIE. And
oh, that's interesting.
so that's where it's confusing. You're giving me LIE answers, but except it will in the areas which I would expect one to know what LIE answers would be, such as in regards to relationships, what you admire in other people. The parts which don't quite fit are in
Mm,
your attitudes towards other people. Now, the LIE is a very independent type, very certainly intellectually independent. They will not have their views of things decided by what other people just happen to think. That they are very
right.
stubborn in terms of their intellectual independence. But talking to you and going through the examples, it seemed to me that this wasn't a question of intellectual independence. This is instead
Mm,
a question of independence in terms of whom you, or a certain stubbornness in terms of whom you associate with and how you
mm,
express yourself. And
mm,
that to me was quite interesting. I would be very surprised to think that an LIE would go to such a decision as to refuse to attend the graduation ceremony because well my friends aren't there and this whole thing where they put on this charade and all of this.
yeah.
Typically, I would say about an LIE, this is a type where extroverted ethics is in their role function.
Right.
And the role function is something which is adaptive to external pressured circumstances. This is a type which typically will put on the mask as it were, in terms of, okay, I need to do these things to get along with these different sorts of people. I need to blend in somewhat, even though I know that, these graduation ceremonies are stupid. But you know what? My friends, my family even would want me to go along and be part of it. They want me to do these sorts of things. So, I'm going to go along with it.
Yeah. Mm,
Even when it comes to something like a musical theatre product or theatrical production, I said, well, I know these people around me are incompetent, but at the end of the day,
yeah.
as long as I get the role, which I want,
Mm,
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with, you know, doing, if I've decided to go into this show, this is a show where it's stretching my capabilities. I'm focused on
mm,
that. I'm not really focused on what this so and so next to me not being able to sing properly. However, an EIE will think, how does this reflect on me that I am in this theatrical troupe which has such low standards for letting people in? And what does that
mm,
suggest about, is this really the group of the really top actors that I really want to be part of, who have this sort of bar? Even things
uh,
like being around someone who is messy and a certain aesthetic ramifications of someone who conducts themselves in a certain slovenly way. There's the
mm,
stubbornness in the sensation there, but there's also stubbornness in the ethics. It was interesting to me that you took issue
mm,
not only with the person who was too positive, but also the person who's too negative. And it was almost the mood music has to be the mood music I want it to be, whether that's in my creative expressions, but also
mm.
in how people are reacting
You're cutting
to
off.
ideas.
Oh,
When it comes
oh,
to an
okay, you're good.
LIE,
I'm sorry.
sorry, how about now? That's okay. When
Mm,
it comes to an LIE,
good.
this is the type which, yeah, they want to go out, they want to fix problems, they want to be independently successful. They are bonded with an ESI, and an ESI is a type
Mm,
which defaults towards saying no to things. That sort of
mm,
cynical skepticism is a very key part of how they see situations and how they approach new ideas. An LSI, on the other hand, for them, it's about providing certainty and grounding
mm,
things in a sense where you know where you stand in terms of what things are, how they fit together. I didn't see any logical stubbornness. It was all ethical stubbornness. And keeping in
mm,
mind that your chosen that even the way you talk about it. When I asked you about a hobby, you did not like the word hobby because the tone of hobby when
mm,
attached to what you're doing, it's
mm,
the wrong tone. It's the wrong mood music. The mood music, this is your purpose. This is something you're going to give
mm,
your all towards. And there's a certain dramatic aspect to that. There's a romanticization of what you do. And it's up to you to set what that mood music is, not for me to dilute it with the word hobby. Wouldn't think an LIE would respond in that
mm,
way. That they'd be more
mm,
likely to say, well, it's not really about my grand purpose. It's okay, I'm going to become successful and I'm going to look
mm,
into how I'm going to do that and be as effective as I can in doing that. But there's a sense here for you that you think
mm,
in terms of scenes, in terms of certain interactions. You want to ask certain questions which provoke, which get people to think. There's an idea here of how what are we going to take from this? And at the same time, certainly in your past interactions, wanting to have a certain amount of creative control, wanting things to be expressed in a certain way,
mm,
the relationship side not and the sort of the harmony in the relationship falling to one side. I can see why you can identify the introverted ethics as being the weak spot, even though your
mm,
attitudes towards why you don't want to be in this, why you don't want to have that sort of association, why you disagree with that creative instinct, suggesting that your internal attitudes and your responses to things are actually something which are being consulted and something you actually do trust in. It's just not being moved towards maintaining harmony in close, stable relationships with others, which is the
mm.
introverted sensing and the introverted intuition, I'd say, both being almost rejected. So
Yeah.
this
And,
is why my gut is telling me EIE, but I can look at certainly your answers around what do you admire in people that you do not have yourself, which I know you did struggle to answer as being I really saying I don't have this myself, and that being more introverted ethics in terms of how it reads
yeah.
certainly on paper. What I would like to do is to explore that more in the follow-up session, and I'm aware my voice has gone for some strange reason.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I just did it
Yeah,
now for some reason.
I've been going on so many tangents. My throat just decided to like, yeah,
No, that's okay.
yeah, that's a hell of an interesting take.
But yeah,
I've never heard that
I
before.
lie.
But
I
yeah,
lie. I don't think. I think um, you're clearly someone who has a high level of energy, a certain erratic energy. The tangents would not make sense for an
mm,
ILI. They would make sense for the sort of
mm,
can't really relax aspect of both the EIE and LIE. I
Yeah,
would add that
yeah,
as you said to me before we started recording, you booking this interview almost on the spur of the moment, and also doing it and also doing it publicly. It's odd for an ILI to do it on the at least
yeah,
even more so the spur of the moment. I could even do it publicly, but doing it on the spur of the moment is
yeah,
odd for an ILI. They are very
yeah,
cautious and slow to make decisions.
yeah. I can definitely do a follow. Like I, oh my God, I have so many things to say, but yeah, I think I could do the follow up like tomorrow. Um, but yeah, like kind of one small thing I could say is that I am very huge on planning. Like I'm more of like the reason like I did Inspiro was because I
Yeah,
thought, okay, nobody's gonna interrupt me because usually I do meetings like this, like when I'm talking to people or calling people online, whenever my
yeah.
parents or anybody does not, come in and interrupt me for some reason, or whenever they're not home. And I don't know when that's gonna happen. And I realize over the past few months, it's like, oh, nobody's actually done that. So I'm like, okay, why not? I'm gonna go do this.
Mm.
Yeah, and like I can like I'm very strict on planning and like okay like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but I can also plan on the fly like as I'm like doing something at the
Mm.
moment. I'm like, okay, I want to do this tomorrow, or like even right now I was like, okay, I'm going to do a follow-up session right now, or like in 3 hours or 3 days or something. um like for example, like I was on vacation last month, and like I generally hated the entire spontaneity of like going with the flow with my grandparents,
Yeah.
because it's like my understanding is like okay, they have a career, and like my granddad has a career and he's like has sometimes he
Oh,
gets called up spontaneously.
yeah.
But
There's a quick thing there. Going with the
yeah,
flow, that's different. That's not your own impetuousness. That's not your own spontaneity.
yeah,
That's going with someone else's flow. And neither
yeah.
to be honest, an ILI is more inclined to go with a flow than an EIE or LIE
Ah,
because the
yeah,
sensation
because they're
is
perceiving type.
stubborn.
Yeah.
No, because the
Mm,
sensation is stubborn in these types.
mm,
They
mm,
want to have their circumstances operate on their terms.
mm. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, because like like with him it's like he could just like make a decision on the fly. It's like okay, I don't care, let's just make a
Yeah,
decision. But if we're not doing anything, I'm like okay, get up off your ass and we're gonna go do all these 5 things tomorrow.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I ugh. Like I hate it when it's like you go somewhere and we just sit down and relax and have a mimosa or something. I don't want that.
no,
That sounds
no,
like you could do that anywhere.
yeah,
It's like I don't know, like you can go to like England and like I just want to go party, and I'm like, what? Like you can go party anywhere else. Like go see the museum or go like somewhere else. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah,
yep. No,
um,
I get it. I get it.
yeah.
Listen,
Oh, and you
uh,
said oh, I know we're running out of time, but it's like you said ILI sensation is stubborn or LIE sensation is stubborn.
LIE and EIE.
Mm,
The mobilizing
yeah.
function and vulnerable function, which where sensation will then slot into, means it's an area of stubbornness. So they need it on their terms, even while they concertedly push one and totally reject the other. It still has to be on their terms.
Mm. Yeah, like I can see like even with like say LIE, I'm sorry, ILI and IEI, with their sensations, like even though like say an ILI might be typically like wanting to be independent, but they have like that how is it the one-dimensional SE, and that and their sensation is like oh they're more go with the flow, and even having someone do I don't know, someone take action. They admire people who take action and have that kind of
Yeah,
who can actually force people to do anything. And
yeah,
ILI is like, oh, I want people to do that for me. Whereas like with me, what really was against me being ILI and IEI was because it's like to have someone do that is like someone is babying me. It's like, how dare you? Like I'm gonna like hit
yeah,
you with like a bazooka.
yeah. The ILI
Yeah,
is very independent, but they are again intellectually independent. In term,
yeah,
sure, they don't want their circumstances to depend
yeah.
on, let's say, the power of someone else to take away their intellectual independence. They
Right.
certainly don't want to have to ask people's permission and pander to other people to get things, right?
Mm,
Um, but an ILI, nevertheless, has to outsource the extroverted sensation to someone else. And in terms of in the present moment circumstances, they do not have the wherewithal to decide what happens. They are far more comfortable being a thinker, an advisor to someone else who is able to take
mm,
action, but who respects them and their judgment.
mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the ILI does go, they do actually go with the flow in a sort of detaching from the present moment way of going with the flow. It's the LIEs and EIEs who can't. They do not have the chill to go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I guess a lot of my like intellectualism like my a lot of my like intellectualism comes with like actually kind of one thing I had to say is like I like physically but like I actually fought with my parents multiple times about like having books that they don't want me to read or like debating
Mhm.
them with like stupid rules about like you're supposed to do it this way, or you're supposed to go to church, or you're supposed to do martial arts, or you're supposed to do blah, 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 or I don't want this book in my house. Like I debated with them the whole time. And I stopped doing that because I could just get away with anything now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I even like physically fought my father, who is a black belt and a former Marine and a police officer. So um, yeah, I don't that if that isn't stubborn sensation, it's like I don't know what that is.
No, no,
I
I'm
guess.
pretty sure you're extrovert sensation mobilizing. Again, there's no doubt to me that you are not either LIE or EIE. The question is which of the two you are, because I said you're giving
Yeah.
answers which look more on paper like LIE, but
Mm,
my my hunch and putting the broader thing in context. And the key thing for me was also, okay, he's coming across to my heuristic like an EIE. He's answering
yeah.
questions in an EIE sort of way, even though on paper it would look like what an LIE would say. And I think, okay,
Mm,
does he know does he know enough about the types in order to suggest another type? Because another thing is that
yeah.
EIEs, they easily slip into different identities and
Mm,
a number of occasions, if I've looked at what someone has said on paper, and they've turned to be what seemed to be one type, it then turned out later they're not that type, but they were an EIE. EIEs can do
mm.
that a lot, so I've always got my
That's really
EIE
interesting.
EIE radar on, and this is an example of that.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is when I'm gonna have to do my own work. Um, yeah, yeah, I'll, um, yeah, I think you might have to like end this soon, but basically it's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to relook at EIs. Um, I've, I think I'm way too centered on a bunch of ENTJs already. So it's like I need to like freshen up and brush up on beta quarta, um, and see that for a
Yeah,
bit.
please feel free. And I'll send you, if you haven't seen them already, both my type to explain correctly videos. Have a
Yeah.
read into them, see what you think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I look forward to the follow-up.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much,
All
Moses.
right.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Take
All
care
right.
now.